gonna have to bleep that. I could say worse. It's tempting. I was just getting up off the sofa, and my knee went out again. I was able to hobble to the ice box and get an ice pack, hoping rapid swelling reduction will make this not so bad. But, ouch. Last time this happened, I was completely incapacitated for 24 hours. It isn't an option tomorrow. I gotta pick up my wife from the airport. We'll see how this goes. It's a little bit later. Not much. I don't know, less than half an hour. I wasn't really paying attention to the time. But something really strange has happened. So let me explain what happens when my knee goes out. I'll get up from a chair and it will feel like someone sticks a knife in my knee right there. Okay, that spot right there. And sometimes I go down all the way unless there's something to grab onto. I mean, it's that powerful. But every time I've been to the doctor, they haven't been able to find anything. So they give me exercises. And a few weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, it went out on me, as I mentioned, and I was out for 24 hours. And in that case, I could not move the knee. Well, I could move it. It was fine like this, and it was fine like that. But it was everywhere from here to here that would just produce agonizing pain. And so that's kind of hard to go from the sitting to standing. As long as I'm standing, I'm fine, and as long as I'm sitting, I'm fine. But everything in between was a problem. Now this time, I had my knee brace on anyway, so that may have helped. And I got up from the sofa, and it, did the knife in the side thing. And I immediately hobbled over and got an ice pack and put it on there. And sat here for a few minutes and tried standing up. And I noticed that it wasn't as bad in that it only hurt here in this narrow range, about like that. It's the same pain, same place. And of course that makes it difficult to walk, but I was able to hobble. And I was sitting on the sofa, and I was feeling the knee here with my thumb like this. And right here, there was a spot that was sore. And you know how sometimes a pain feels a little less when you push on it? So I tried pushing on it like this. And suddenly, it stopped hurting. And it's stopped hurting. The whole knee is fine. I'm not getting anything. This is so weird. That spot, there is something wrong with that spot. Maybe that will lead the doctor to a clue to figure out what this is, but I think I moved something back in place that had shifted out of place. So I'm going to put the brace back on, and I'm going to go to bed. But I'm hopeful that we're on a path to understanding this very annoying problem. Well, after last night's leg problem, I had a couple of spasms while I was sleeping, but otherwise it's mostly fine. I'm still favoring it a little bit just to be safe. James and I have come to Jack in the Box this morning for breakfast. Michelle wanted an omelette. She wanted to cook the omelette, but since I've never made an omelette, I was not entirely sure, how that goes. So I cooked her an omelette, to see. So this is my very first omelet. Let's take a look at how that turned out. I'm going to start here with 3 eggs and some salt and pepper and whip them up really good. Turn the skillet on to about medium heat. And I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO, as some people have come to refer to it, and spread that around the pan. Now, I got to say, this is absolutely positively the first omelet I've ever attempted to make, so bear with me. Now, I'm throwing in a quote-unquote knob of butter, as all the cook show experts seem to call it. I call it a very small bite. And we're going to heat that up, and we'll just speed time up here a little bit to get rid of that. But, by the way, this is running at 1.5 times, too. So now that seems to be hot. I didn't stick my hand in there. I just put it over the pan to see if I was getting the heat. I think probably the other places, we watched omelet cooking on the internet to figure out how to do this, and I think everybody had their pan on beforehand. So now we've poured the egg into the hot butter and oil, and you just start kind of gently dragging it in from the outside. It's not scrambling. That's already been done, really, with the whisking. But as you do this, you can see that the egg is beginning to congeal, which is gross, but it's what you want. The object is to let this thing solidify in the shape of the bottom of the pan. But you also want to make sure that the whole thing gets cooked. And if it starts not filling in, you just pick up the skillet and swish it around like that. You can also just swish it around. You can see the top is still kind of ooky. In fact, the whole thing is still kind of ooky. Now, some places say don't touch it, and others said, well, if you push it in and it's kind of chunked and it pulls away, but it's still wet, then you just shift it around in the pan like I did just there and get it to fill in the space. I'm going to try it again here. I think it's because the pan's not quite hot enough in this case, or not preheated enough. Now once it's started to congeal properly, you just scrape at the edges again to break it free. Like that. You can see the whole thing shifting now when I push at it. I'm not quite happy with how cooked it is on the top, but I'm going to add the cheese now. This is a Dubliner cheese from Ireland. It's my daughter picked it. I wouldn't have gone with this. I'd have gone with a cheddar. And here's some pre-cooked bacon that I have cut up. And notice I didn't use it all. That's because the rest of it's for the chef. And the whole thing's good and solid now. So we're going to kind of stabilize it. We're going to flip it in half. This is the part that separates the chefs from the amateurs. I'm just going to flip that right over into a perfect half. Just not at all like that. So now I've decided I'm going to try to make a burrito out of it. Sort of an omelet burrito. I'm going to call it a special tri-fold burrito. Omelet. There we go. I've had omelets served like that, so I don't feel so bad. I thought it was just a special style. Now I know it's because the chef screwed up when he was cooking it. What I don't like is there's still some egg oozing out of the side there, which tells me I haven't got it cooked enough. So I'm going to leave it on here for a little longer. Despite the fact that this isn't quite how I wanted it to look, and I don't really know what I'm doing, it's looking surprisingly like an actual omelet there. Not liking the fact that only half of it has browned and the other half hasn't. It's like the pan isn't evenly heated.
Not sure how that could be. The pan's centered over the burner, and the burner is even, so don't know what's going on there. And it's kind of done it again. So I'm going to shift it up that way like that and see if I can't warm up that one side a little bit. I'd also add that the omelets that were made on the internet took half as much time as this. Let's give it just one last look at the other side, because this side's done. And plate it up. Well, it looks done. There's only one last thing I can do. Serve it to Michelle.
It's really good. I like the flavor that the bacon gives it, so it's more smoky-ish, and it's really good. Really good.
The cleaning process continues. That's 3 bags of videotapes that I'm hauling out to the garbage. Those are not the first bags of videotapes. It is a shame in a way, but even the commercial ones have no value. The bookstores around here, the used books and video stores, use them to prop the books up. They don't sell them anymore. They don't buy them anymore. They don't even have a player hooked up anymore. Everything I'm throwing away has been replaced by something on my DVD collection or something that's available on Netflix or Hulu. So it's time to say goodbye to that wasted space. As I've been digging deeper and deeper into the videotapes, I've been finding more and more classic gems. Mostly stuff that I shot years and years and years ago for Fusion Patrol, including this, which is, I think, the original opening graphics, or perhaps the second generation opening graphics, which I'm putting these aside, and I'm gonna have to rig up a VHS deck and try to digitize this stuff, because I can't leave the source footage alone. It's got to become digital and join the 21st century.
At long last, it's time to head to the airport and pick up Chuwan, who has been gone for so very, very long.
You're not sitting in the right seats.
Yeah, Dad had it switched so she could film. Hello.
This used to be filled with videotapes. And so did this. And so did this. And so did this. Of course, those are still filled with videotapes, and they are 3 deep. So 1, 2, 3 deep. And I don't know, what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 across. So that's still a lot of videotapes. But I'll tell you, this also used to be filled with videotapes.
And now it's just got a few select ones that I'm doing some work on here. These are very special videotapes. Those are the videotapes that have me on them, my life, or my projects. There's tapes back there from when my dad bought his house. I had to do some construction work. There's source tapes for the old Fusion Patrol TV series, some of which has been lost. So it was all done on high 8 or mini DV tape, but my earliest tape recorder, or my earliest camcorder, which was a Canon, it was a very nice one, but it began to go bad. And of course, we didn't know it was going bad, but the heads were going out of alignment. So when it finally died, the first tapes that I shot on it worked fine, but the tapes that I'd shot on it later on, the tracking would never track on another deck. So those have been lost, but I found some tapes here that appear to be direct SVHS copies of those high 8 tapes. So I've got to go through them. So I'm literally paying James 25 cents a tape to fast forward them and rewind them. I dug out my last 2 remaining VCRs that were in storage, one of which is an SVHS deck. And I'm going to digitize all these and get rid of them. But otherwise, I've thrown away hundreds of tapes, and I checked, and I just can't find any viable way to make any money off of them. They're just, even commercial ones, it's just write it off. There's no recycling them without removing the polymer tape inside, and there's no metal appreciable in them, so they're really just trash. And I have bags of them, as I showed earlier. So they're gone. So I've actually made a lot of room on my cabinets. It just doesn't look like it because they were stacked so deep. Anyway, so the problem is I did a little test today. I've got my my Elgato digital device here that will import video, make H.264 captures off of it through a high-speed USB port, and this works pretty well. I mean, the quality of the original signal is not very good anyway, because it is standard low-res VHS, or in the case of the SVHS tapes, a little bit better, but it's still very low compared to today's standard. But here's the problem. This is the last device that I have that uses these RCA plugs for the audio. And a few years ago, I had this tub. And I mean a big tub, like 2-3 foot across, 1.5 feet deep, 1.5 feet wide, filled with those RCA patch cables. I mean, they were a snaked nightmare mess. And I went through that, and I pulled out all the specialty ones, like special ones that go to camcorders or tape cameras. So they'll have a different end on one side, so they're like converter tapes. I apparently threw away every last one, and they're at least 50. At least 50 and probably more. And they're all gone. And now I need one, because this is female, and so is the back of the recorder. So I have to have a patch cable to make this work. I still have SVHS, or S-video cables, and I tested it, and the deck works. The tapes are still, at least the ones I tried, still work. So it's all good as soon as I can find that RCA cable. Patch cable, which I'm hoping someone can bring me one to loan tomorrow, so I don't have to go buy one, because that will be the ultimate defeat, is to have to go buy one of those cables when you used to get them for free, practically in boxes of cereal, which is why I had so damn many of them. Well, that's pretty much it. The good news today is, of course, that Chuwan is back from her trip. It was a safe flight from Dallas. She was at the Camp Quest Leadership Summit, where starting last year, they have a competition to see which special programming the individual camps around the country have, and I'm proud to say that this year we came in best in show for our program on mythological creatures, which involves chopping up stuffed animals and sewing them back together, which is a lot more fun than it sounds, and a little less macabre. And I might mention we won last year too. So go Camp Quest, Arizona. Well, remember, folks, if you would to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheerio!